This week we have one of our best ever Beers in the Shed, where we count down the best beach drives you can do in this great country of ours. We also reveal some of our favourite spots, Graham.
Yeah, mate, we're going to do it state by state as well. And then, I don't know how we're going to do this, but we're going to pick our favourite beach state by state. And then at the end of it all, we're naming Australia's best beach run.
Well, welcome to another Beers in the Shed. Graham, cheers, mate. I've already opened my beer. And Happy New Year.
There's a cracking sound right there. Yeah, Happy New Year to you, mate.
How good now. We've got an amazing hot topic to talk about, and I think a lot of you guys are going to be very keen on finding out the results of this one. The best beaches to drive on in Australia.
Unless you live in Victoria, mate.
Yeah, and why is that, mate? Because Victoria's got some pretty wild restrictions.
They really do. And when it comes to beach runs, I believe there's only one, maybe two if you're lucky, I'm not sure, but there's one at Sandy Point down near Wilson's Prom. Other than that, beach driving is just not permitted. And how's this? You're not allowed to camp on beaches in Victoria.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit upsetting that it's gone that way. I mean, I'm sure if you go back 50 years, you'd be able to drive on a stack of beaches down there, and they would have closed them one by one, no doubt. When I was first getting into the four-wheel drive game, you used to be able to get a permit, and that allowed you to drive on the beaches near Lakes Entrance, I believe. There was some beaches up around there. You had to be part of a four-wheel drive club, and you had to get a permit. That was pretty restrictive back then, but by the sounds of it, you could probably easily say that Victoria and Canberra are the two worst states to actually go beach driving in.
Very tricky in Canberra, mate. Very tricky in Canberra. Very tricky.
You get bogged on the shore of Lake Burley Griffin, but that's about the size of it over there.
And I'm sure a few people have, mate, with and without their four-wheel drives. But Victoria's a tricky one. And when you think about Victoria too, it's so open in so many other areas. You know, you can openly go hunting up there. They encourage it. You know, the high country's open for everyone to go and explore. It's a paradise for four-wheel drivers in a lot of ways, except if you want to get your tyres sandy.
Exactly right. Tell us what you guys think. Now, do you think the restrictions are way too harsh in Victoria, especially when it comes to beach driving? Let us know. Keen to hear what you guys reckon.
Shall we move on from Vic, because there's not much else to say about Vic beach driving, mate? She's pretty, she's pretty restrictive. Shall we? How about we jump into New South Wales, mate?
Yeah, that's a great state for beach driving. There's so many there, mate. You and I have done stacks of beach driving in New South.
Mate, a classic for us in New South Wales, in fact, was one of the very first beaches I went to in New South Wales with you. Probably it would have been the first beach I went with you, was Pebbly Beach. Now, it has changed a lot since back in the day. But the Pebbly Beach run is iconic. You had to time that little crossing of the tidal creek in order to get into the campground.
Mate, Rob, the old ranger down there, he'd shown, I think he was up to about 150 vehicles that had flooded in that tiny little creek. What I loved about Pebbly so much, stunning campsite that you could only really access with a four-wheel drive, and you had to do a beach run, you had to do a little creek crossing, time the tides. There was a fair bit of adventure just to get to the campsite.
Just to get there.
And that's what I loved about it. Once you were there, you felt like you were miles from anywhere. You were very quite remote up in that Coffs Coast. So if you can, take a little tinny with you as well, you can get to some really close inshore grounds. The snapper and the mackerel usually go off there as well. So, and the jewies, unbelievable fishing, mate. Stockton Beach. Now, Stockton Beach used to be probably one of the best beach runs in Australia. It had, so many kilometres of massive big sand dunes. You could basically, it was a free-for-all. You could drive absolutely anywhere on the beach. Now they've restricted it to one part of the beach where you can drive up and down, you need a permit, all that sort of jazz. You can't just go wild in the sand dunes like you could.
I've heard, am I correct in saying you're not allowed to camp on it anymore? They've taken the camping site and put it out the back of the beach now? You're not actually allowed to camp on the beach?
On the beachfront? When I was young and I first got my four-wheel drive, you could camp anywhere it was amazing. It was really, really a cool place to be. But it's a cool beach run nevertheless. There's lots to see and do on that one, mate. It goes for quite some time too. Another one, mate. You remember this one, Hawk's Nest. Yeah,
beautiful spot. Really is.
Yeah, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was one of the last places I wheeled the original Sooty, and that was the final trip on. Yeah, and I loved. We just sort of finished up on that beach, and it was a really cool send off for the old girl. Another cool beach, very soft sand though. I've seen so many people bog there.
Samurai Beach, mate. You can actually camp on Samurai Beach, but that's not why I know it to be famous.
Yep.
Do you know why?
What's that, mate?
Samurai is it's a clothing optional beach, mate. You can drive in there stark naked if you want to, mate.
Oh, it's got that sort of facility. Okay, well,
it's got. You can tick that
be
box.
Careful if you're driving a manual. That's all I can say, mate. Be really careful.
Oh, jeepers creepers. A lot of 79s on Samurai Beach.
I saw a bloke on there actually changing gears. He's in an auto, so I don't know what he's doing. But it is a beautiful beach there, and camping is allowed as well. So it's quite a big beach as well. You don't have to get nude just because you're going down there. But there is just a little section. I do remember though. I do remember quite well. Another couple of beaches that we probably worth mentioning in New South Wales is now. I'm going to say Lennox Head and down near Evans Head. So they're northern New South Wales. A lot of people think you can't really drive on many of the beaches up there, and you can't. And they're not extreme beaches in the sense that you're going to go get bogged and all the rest of it. They're just nice little beach runs that you can get a permit to go on. Dogs are allowed. The fishing's good, and it's a nice little spot to get away. And a lot of people don't know you can do that. But
there you go.
They are trying to close some of those beaches as well. So whatever you do, if you do get access to those beaches, just take it nice and easy and be quite respectful.
Look after them.
Yeah, that's the key. I think with all beach driving is a bit of a sensitive topic, I think, and you've got to really look after the beaches or else we will lose our access just like Victoria did.
Yeah, I mean, it's an area that you can sort of, I guess it promotes cutting loose a bit, you know, getting out there with your mates, having a few beers and doing donuts on the beach and then putting it on the old socials, probably not the right thing to do. That's what's going to bring the undoing of some of these beaches, especially the more popular ones. You know, the ones that are out of the way, they're never going to get touched. But the popular ones, you look at Stockton now, that's changed, and I can almost guarantee it's because, you know, that kind of activity. Yeah,
absolutely. Couldn't agree more, mate. Well, that's New South Wales. What's your favourite beach run in New South Wales, mate?
Oh, gee whiz. Mate, I'm going to have to say Pebbly for a couple of reasons. Like you said, it's the adventure of getting to it, but also I've got a lot of history. You know, I went back in there with Shorty right back in the day. Shorty's next to me here and got the bonnet up. Don't look at that too closely. So, yeah, for me, memory-wise, it's got to be Pebbly, mate.
Yep, I'm going to agree with you, mate. Pebbly's probably the best beach run. Second to that is probably Hawk's Nest, I reckon. There's some just because of the fishing. You can get good fishing there. Heaps of pippies on the beach, and beach fishing can go pretty wild at times.
I'm going to say Samurai is the second best for very similar reasons, mate. Let's move on to South Australia. Now
I heard the worming's pretty good there, mate.
Very hard to use as bait. South Australia is one of those states where you kind of gloss over it and you think to yourself, they've probably got a couple of beaches, you know, Robe to Beachport. There's one. South Australia, mate, is I'd almost go as far as saying one of the beach capitals in Australia when it comes to driving. They have so much on offer. So of course you've got the classic, the Robe to Beachport run, which, you know, people come from all over Australia to do that particular stretch of coast. You can camp all along the way. It's quite adventurous. Some of the crossings you've got to do on the bay, so you've got to actually go across from one headland to the next on the bays. Some of that sand, incredibly soft. We've rescued people out there before. Tremendous beach run. If you've never done the Robe to Beachport, I think they're cracking down a little bit on it because in order to reach the start of that, you've got to go through private property, and I think it's just starting to get a bit... How you going? I'm not too sure what the status is. In fact, any locals down in South Oz, in the comments down below, let us know. What's the status of the Robe to Beachport run at the moment? Is it still fully functioning? Is there restrictions? What's going on with it? Because it's a cracker, mate. It really is. Another one you wouldn't think of, mate, and again, only because I went there with Off-Grid, is Kangaroo Island. This place has got the beach runs. It's stunning. Kangaroo Island is like a mini Tasmania. It is absolutely awesome. And the beach runs there's no long, adventurous beach runs. They're all quite short, but they look literally like something out of a postcard. We parked up on one beach run in particular there, and Stephen Harley actually got to swim with dolphins. Just wild dolphins came in, and they got to swim with dolphins for about half an hour. Incredible. Yeah, wow, what a place. What a place. Yeah, it's incredible, really is. And so is both of the peninsulas, mate. You've got York and Eyre Peninsula in South Australia. The beach runs up and down there, just phenomenal. I would rate South Australia's beach runs as the second best in Australia. We'll leave the best till last, but the second best in Australia, without a doubt.
Oh, I'm blushing, mate. Of course, it's going to be Queensland number one, but
right, we've got to pick our best beach run in South Australia, mate. What do you reckon?
Considering I've never been on the beach in South Australia,
well, it's going to be tricky for you then. Yes,
other than down in Glenelg on a summer's day, and I'll tell you what, it's got some sights to be seen around there.
It really does. Remember that oyster bar we went to?
I'll tell you what, I didn't eat oysters that day, but I had them anyway. I would probably, the one I'd most like to do would be the Robe to Beachport, just to tick that one off.
Yep. 100%. You've got to do it. It's on every. We should go and do that one together because it's honestly, from beginning to end, it's a couple of days of pure adventure. It's an absolute cracker. You pick that one. I'm going to pick Kangaroo Island, not one particular beach. I'm just going to say KI because I want to go back to KI. It is stunning. So, Robe to Beachport, KI.
KI. Perfect, mate. Well, let's move on to probably the greatest state, not just for beach driving, but just some of the best blokes come out of this. Some of the vehicles come out of this state. It's just a fantastic state to be involved in. Queensland, of course, I'm talking about, and we do have some of the best, at least the most famous beach runs you could possibly do in this country, I'd reckon. And I'm going to start off, mate, with Fraser Island. You can't miss it. Obviously, you and I just got back from Fraser, mate, so it's still fresh on the mind. But that is the world's largest sand island, of course. It's people don't really understand, if you've never been to Fraser, just how big this island is.
Oh, so it's staggeringly big.
Massive. So it's about 120 odd k's from south to north, and quite about 30 k's wide across the middle of it, and a massive island, heaps of tracks, inland tracks, lots of different beaches. And I'm going to say the best time to go is around that August, September. I know it's cold, but you don't get as many crowds, and the tailor fishing just kicks off around that sort of September. So a good time of year to go.
Yeah, it's not that cold though. I mean, it's got a pretty...
It's not. You can still swim. I still swim in July over in Fraser Island. It's not cold at all. But for us Queenslanders, it's a lot of people don't think about going on the beach in winter time, but it's a stunning time of the year to go.
100%. Now, I guess Fraser's got a bit of an adversary, mate, a bit of an opponent on the island game, that being Moreton. And I think I'm a bit outspoken about it. I am a big fan of Moreton. I love Fraser, don't get me wrong. Any chance I get, I'll hit Fraser Island. But Moreton's just got a couple of things that Fraser doesn't that ticks boxes for me. One of which, the big one for me, of course, you're allowed to have campfires. Big one. It's a real big one. Yeah,
and that does change the whole camping vibe when you got a campfire. I agree with you. Moreton is often overlooked, and it shouldn't be, because it's a premier destination and it's in earshot of Brisbane. I mean, if you're on the west coast, you actually see the CBD of Brisbane in the distance while you're sitting down on a beach by yourself having a cold beer with a fire. I mean, that's about as good as it gets.
It's pretty special.
Another one, just we're going down the list of islands, is North Stradbroke. Now, I've only been to North Stradbroke for the very first time this year. I've fished around it my whole life, but I've only actually driven a vehicle on it for the first time this year. Stunning place. Absolutely stunning. Very different from Fraser and Moreton. It's not as adventurous in the sense that as soon as you get off the ferry, you're on a bitumen road, there's streets. It's like a proper little town community. Absolutely. But if you jump onto the eastern beach, you've got a full beach run the length of the island, and chances are you'll be the only person on that beach.
I guess it's one of those places though, mate. It just gets overlooked as people zoom past it, to 100%. Go to the bigger.
100%, and there's some of the most stunning beaches there. You can't drive on all of them, but on that eastern beach you can drive the whole length of that, mate. Fantastic fishing and camping, and you can have dogs on the island in certain campgrounds as well. So there's not many islands where you can actually do that. You can take your dog as well, so that's another little point for North Straddy. So again, all those little southeast Queensland islands are great. I'm going to chuck in DI as well.
Yeah, DI. That's very popular.
It's worth mentioning that as a good beach run. Now, I try and avoid the place on weekends because it does get very busy. That's an understatement. It gets really, really busy. But if you're just getting into four-wheel drive and you've got your P plates and you're looking, how do I do this four-wheel drive caper? It's a good spot to start. I mean, it's not super hard wheeling. There's going to be plenty of people around to pull you out if you do get in a strife, and it's a great way to learn your rig and go camping with your mates. So if you're wanting to get into four-wheel drive and you don't know where to take your four-wheel drive, a beach run, especially DI, is a good place to start.
And I think the next one we've got on our list here, mate, is like probably the beach you'd say to do next almost, and that is Byfield, Five Rocks, because it steps things up a notch. In order to get to the beach, you've got a couple of hill climbs they're not easy. They're rutted, they're soft sand, they're reasonably steep, and it catches a lot of people out. So, and then obviously once you get down to the beach, it's absolutely off-tap stunning. It's one of the nicest beaches you'll ever get to.
That's my old stomping grounds, mate.
Is it really?
Yeah, Byfield. My mum still lives up that way, and I've been going there since a kid, mate, and learned how to four-wheel drive on some of those beaches. Again, it doesn't get the accolades of Fraser Island and all those really famous spots. It's sort of a bit of a local secret, the old Byfield.
Let's go a bit further afield now, and that being obviously Cape York. We don't put Cape York on the map for its beach driving. It's not why you go to Cape York, but the Pennyfather River area up at Cape York, the beach run up that way. We've done that together. That's a stunning part of the world. Not easy to get to, super remote, and you feel like you're out in the middle of nowhere when you're doing that one.
Yeah, exactly right. Again, most people bypass Weipa because it seems like the only, it's a big mining town. Surely there can't be any good forward driving around there, but you know, Pennyfather's a prime example. It's adventurous to get there. You can camp, the fishing, the boating, the crabbing, all that sort of jazz is, you know, so many people. Level. I've met so many old blokes actually go there every year for like a month. They'll do those big camp setups. Yeah, they'll even drop a bore in to have fresh water, and they'll camp for a couple of months on the beach and just fish. Yeah, you got to be careful of crocs though. There's some big salties up there, so you got to be a little bit careful when you're camping up that way. But yeah, stunning part of the world, mate. Well, let's go down a notch. Let's go down back to sort of southeast Queensland, Woodgate,
Kincuna.
Yeah, Kincuna, Woodgate, all that whole region from sort of Bundy to Harvey Bay. Again, heaps of really cool beaches down there. Kincuna is a fantastic spot to camp and go for a beach drive. It's
the home of the Barra converted short wheelbase anything, I reckon.
Every patrol has got a Barra conversion on Kincuna Beach, without a doubt. It's a given. It's
the symphony of Woodgate Beach, Kincuna. It's just Barra's on limit the whole way up and down the beach.
Yeah, it's good. It's fantastic camping, and I think when I'm trying to like rate the best beach drives in Australia, I'm looking for places that offer fantastic camping as well. Because as far as I'm concerned, I want to go there and camp. I love beach camping. If you can do a bit of a drive to get to a good campsite, that ticks all the boxes. And if the fishing's there as well, mate, it just adds another element. Then it gets the full tick of approval for me. Best beach in Queensland, mate.
Yeah, well, I was going to say there's probably another 50 beaches in Queensland, but we have to narrow it down. So look, I've been outspoken about it, so I'm going to back it, and I'm going to say that Moreton Island is the best place to go when it comes to getting sand on your tyres in Queensland. I just love it.
Yeah, I'm going to say Fraser Island. No surprises there. One of the best beach runs that you can do, not just in Queensland, but probably in Australia, mate.
Mate, speaking of great things, what's going on with Marta at the moment?
Yeah, they've got a really cool lottery at the moment where you can win a Chop 300 series. Check this out. Well, Marta Cars for Cancer have done it again with their biggest ever lottery. Now you could win what I reckon is one of the ultimate touring vehicles in this country, a Chop 300 series Land Cruiser that's been extended, it's got a tray, canopy, all the off-road gear. In fact, there's over 130 grand's worth of accessories on this bad boy right here. And if that wasn't cool enough, you'd be hooking up this Lifestyle Campers Fusion van. Now it's a full off-road caravan, it'll take you to your wildest destinations. And get this, there's also $75,000 worth of cashable gold bullion. If you do the maths real quick, that takes the total prize package to over $420,000. Now it could all be yours with just a $30 ticket. Your best way to take advantage of this one is jump onto the website carsforcancer.com.au, but make sure you get your entries in real quick because this lottery ends real soon. Well, I suppose we cross over, mate, to Western Australia. This will be a nice short one because I don't see too much beach driving over there. It's up in the sort of same category as Canberra and Victoria. So I'll probably skip that one, unless you've got anything to add, mate.
Well, I've only got 35 of them in my local area, but we'll do those 35 first, and then we'll start moving up by region into the Midwest, into the Gascoyne, the Pilbara. Yep. And we'll just keep going up from there. So when it comes to beach runs, there ain't no state like it. Probably the most famous one in WA, everyone's heard of it. That's the Ningaloo Beach Run, or the Exmouth Coastal Run, from sort of south of Exmouth down around Coral Bay, all the way up and around the peninsula into Exmouth town itself. That one that gets, I don't know how many people each year, thousands and thousands. The camping's off its head, the beaches are beautiful, the snorkelling, the swimming, because of course you've got, there's a honking on the roof again. Of course you get the reef comes right into the beach, so you can snorkel over the reef straight off the beach. It's a stunning part of the world. Yeah. It is, however, very well known these days.
Yeah, it is. Even I was there in off season, mate, and it was still pretty busy. But nothing apparently what it's like between sort of May and September. Apparently it's just absolutely insane.
Yeah, it is. And for good reason. It's a beautiful spot, but yeah, it is starting to just get, dare I say it, a little too busy. Anyway, we'll move on from that one. But that is the premier beach run that everyone knows about in Australia. Then you've got places like Esperance. The beach driving around Esperance, synonymous with the quality of the sand. The sand is so fine and white down there, when you drive over it, it makes a squeaky sound. Most people think they've got something wrong with their vehicle. Wheel bearings, something's gone horribly wrong. It's a crazy place to actually drive on the beach. And it's one of the few places you can drive on the beach and you have to actually avoid kangaroos. They come down to the beach every afternoon. I don't know why. Yeah, kangaroos on the beach. It's a crazy spot.
I've only seen photos of Esperance, but it looks like a tropical paradise, even though it's in the most southern regions of WA. It's really cool.
Water temps are about 8 degrees all year round. It's not tropical by any means. No. You were talking about Five Rocks and growing up in the area, mate. There's a place south of me here called the Yeagerup Dunes. You've probably seen photos of them, massive dunal system.
I have.
And that's where I grew up, down that way. I used to do them back in the day on a three-wheel motorbike. That's all we had.
Yep.
We couldn't afford a four-wheel drive when I was young. We got one later on, but we used to go down through the Yeagerup Dunes to go fishing for salmon on the old three-wheel motorbike. So I go right back with Yeagerup Dunes. It's a stunning part of the world. Really is good. You would love it, mate.
Yeah, no, I've heard a lot about Yeagerup, mate, and all the ups. In fact, there's
a lot of ups.
There's a lot of ups in WA, and most of them are pretty good.
Now, speaking of ups, the Yeagerup Dunes are famous because there's a dune down that way called Kelcup Hill, or the Widowmaker is another word for it. Mm-hmm. I've yet to see a bigger sand dune that you have to get up in order to get to the beach. You can't go around it. You have to go up and down this sand dune. Kelcup Hill. I've never done it in one go. I've never been at the bottom and gone to the top. Nah, never. Never done it in one go. It's taken multiple times to get up this dune. It is huge. Now, in the comments down below, if you know of a bigger sand dune that you have to navigate to get to a beach than Kelcup, let me know because I want to hit it. Kelcup is a huge challenge. And even I've done it in the Y62. Took me 2 goes.
Yeah, wow. Must be
She's a big
pretty
one.
challenging. Well, I want to go to the other side of the state, mate, right up the north end. Cable Beach, just north of Broome.
Absolute classic.
That's a classic. And I mean, look, it's a touristy beach, but it's not just that little part right near Broome. You can drive north up that beach a long way and have the whole place to yourself. Now, one thing that I will give you guys in WA, your sunset's over the beach. So if you get there in the afternoon, you can set up, get your little cooker out, and it's beautiful. Yep. It's some of the best beach driving you'll ever do. Just be careful though. I managed to get myself quite stuck on that beach right up the north, and it got really soft and I got stuck, and instead of enjoying a romantic evening with the missus, mate, I was digging sand out from a 60 series. So.
How did you get stuck? How did you get stuck on Cable Beach? It's like
right up north.
Two-wheel drive vehicles.
Yeah, because I decided to get away from all the people, which were all, there was camels and all sorts of stuff going on down right near Broome. So I thought, I'll just go as far as I can sort of drive. And then I couldn't see anyone, and then it started getting real soft, and I thought, I'll just change gears and obviously dump the clutch and get out of this one, and I just went straight into the chassis. Yeah, and luckily I was able to get the vehicle out, but it sort of took about 2 or 3 hours done. No one was up that end of the beach. I was all by myself up there. So, I was covered in sand. I looked like a crumb sausage, mate. But you know what? That beach, stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So WA does really have a lot going for it in terms of beaches, mate. Lots of beaches.
And we've literally, that's the tip of the iceberg. There are so many beaches in WA that I can't list them all. I cannot. But of this list, mate, for me, my favourite 100% is going to have to be the Yeagerup Dunes. I grew up down there. I still try and get down there once a year. It's wild, it's woolly, the fishing's fantastic, the scenery's unbelievable, camping is off tap. There's nothing about it I dislike. So for me, Yeagerup's got to be number 1.
For me, mate, I'm going to go the Exmouth Coastal Run.
Yeah, good call. Solid call. It's a hot favourite for everyone and for very good reason too.
It's only fair that we go to Tassie next, and Tassie is probably the most underrated state in this country for beach drives. There's a few, you don't really associate the deep south with awesome beaches and places you want to be on, that exposed to coastal winds and all that sort of jazz, but Tassie's got some of the best beach runs, in my opinion, in the country.
Stunning part of the world too.
I might start with the Arthur Pyman area. So that includes obviously north of Granville Harbour there, Arthur Pyman area. Fantastic, mate. You go on a massive big beach run. You go through all different, it's like a full adventure to get up around those headlands, and you can go to some amazing little campsites. If you can brave it out, there's amazing, crayfish and abalone diving straight off the beach there. But just the scenery itself is, I don't know, it's one of those things you have to do if you own a four-wheel drive, in my opinion. Yeah,
it is. I remember doing it many years ago. And we were both driving up the beach, and there was a sea mist that had come in, and it was as if you were driving through like a pea soup up the beach. It was very, I don't know, iconic Tasmanian beach driving. You know, that big windswept beaches, and you had to go over sort of soft parts and parts you can go, Struth, if we get stuck here, that's us.
That's us.
That real adventure stuff.
And one thing that you don't also associate with Tasmania is just how remote it can be. That whole part of the northwest coast, the Arthur Pyman area, is super remote. There's no doubt about it. You're miles away from anywhere. And so much so, in fact, that when you get up to the end of the Arthur Pyman region, do you remember all the little huts up the top there, mate? There's all these little shacks. They call them shacks up there. We've met people, honestly, that have lived in these shacks that have never even been to Hobart. in the tiny little island of Tasmania. That's how remote
Isn't
this
that
place
crazy?
is. It's crazy. I don't know. I feel about 30% more manly when I get down to that northwest area of Tasmania. I feel a bit more like a lumberjack / crate ab diver. I don't know. I don't know what it is about that area, but it's raw and it's remote down there, mate.
It's stunning too. I've got a real soft spot for Tassie, as you know, and yeah, the beach stuff down there is
Sandy Cape to the north. So you obviously
Sandy Cape.
Sandy Cape, where the lighthouse is, another famous beach run, mate. Heaps of sand dunes down there. And just like the Arthur Pyman area, it's not just a straightforward jump on the beach, lower your tyres, drive at 80 k's down the beach, get to your campsite. I mean, there's quicksand, there's little freshwater crossings, there's the big washouts, there's little rock steps you might have to climb up to. It's a whole adventure to get anywhere on that beach.
And there's a big brigade of people that go down there with non-four-wheel drives. I'm talking side-by-sides, quads, motorbikes, the whole lot get down through Sandy Cape, and they're allowed to do it. It's a crazy part of the world. You can park your trailers up and off you go on your side-by-side. Pretty unknown to be able to do that, especially somewhere as restrictive as Tasmania when it comes to things of that nature, as we know. So yeah,
I love it.
Sandy Cape, they love it down there.
The whole scene, I've always wanted to jump in the water down there, and I managed to borrow a chick's wetsuit, some fins,
that fitted.
not very well, mate. Not very. I had the bus to match, but it just couldn't quite, But anyway, don't worry, not a sight to be seen. But I jumped in. I really wanted to grab some abalone. I thought, I don't know my way around there. It was super cold. It hurt to put my head under the water, but I ended up finding all these abs down there. It was amazing diving. And it shows just how nutrient-rich that water is. It's got abalone for days down there. We had one of the best cook-ups on that beach. I'll always remember Sandy Cape. Stunning part of the world,
Beautiful spot too. It is. Mate, my favourite for Tassie, straight up, Arthur Pyman area. It has so much to offer through there. It's adventurous, it's remote. Those little shacks right up the back end, you've got to see them to believe them. All the driftwood on the beach, the campfires you can have, the whole lot, to me, is what makes a beach run. It's adventurous, the camping's fantastic. Yeah, it's got it all in droves. Arthur Pyman, for me, Tasmania.
Yeah, look, I'm going to agree that probably is one of my favourite too. I'm going to say Sandy Cape though for something different. And it's you can hit a golf ball to Sandy Cape. It's the other side of the river actually, I think, just north there. So Sandy Cape is my pick.
Mate, the Northern Territory, again, that's a state we don't typically talk about beaches. You can't get in them. You'll get eaten, stung, beaten, bashed. You can't get in the ocean up there. It's not going to happen. But
it's not.
The beach driving still pretty darn spectacular when you think about it. Now, here's one. It's not a beach drive, but I have to mention it because for you and I, it's a big part of our history, and that is we managed to get out to the beach. We were the first people to run a track out there at Lorella Springs.
Yeah.
And the beach was absolutely stunning. Wasn't a beach you could drive on so much. You could a little bit, but just get into that beach. Yeah, a little bit. Absolutely stunning. So I've put that one in there just because the history we've got with it.
And that's the thing with NT beaches. There are so many, and they're not like beach runs in the sense that there's well-defined tracks everywhere that, everyone heads for the weekend. Some of these beach drives are so remote, but they're completely untouched. So, if you live and breathe adventure, the NT is a fantastic spot for that. You and I have been lucky enough to get up to Coburg as well, mate. Coburg Peninsula up in Arnhem Land. Some of the best beach driving.
Up there?
Oh, mate, I've done some fantastic beach runs up there. Again, you're not driving the beach just for the sake of it. Usually trying to go fishing or crabbing or get oysters off the rocks on a low tide. But the place has everything, mate. And again, you and I have been at plenty of Arnhem Land beaches where we're the only ones on the beach.
And with Arnhem, you don't need to go too far out of Gove either, and you've got some really, really pretty beach runs. And most of the beaches, if not all, if I think about it now, all of the beaches allow you to camp on them up there. They do have that dicky booking system that I don't agree with.
Makes it a bit tricky.
It does make it tricky. Big tip though, folks, if you are heading up to Arnhem and you've got a night where you're not sure what you're going to do, there is a Facebook page called Arnhem Camping. You can jump on there, become a member of that page, and you can actually trade campsites up there because you can swap out who's got the campsite for the night. So there's obviously someone, a local, his dog got sick, he can't make it tonight. He'll just pop up that campsite's available and you can grab it. So if you are going into Arnhem, there's a little tip for you. That's
a cool one. And what about Blue Mud Bay? I don't know what the regulations are like these days, but that's one of my favourite spots as well.
Remember when we were up there we had crocs swimming past camp, there were buffalo stampedes, magpie geese, mosquitoes by the billion. Yeah, untouched wilderness. What about closer to town, mate? You've got a couple of options in the NT. Darwin, 90 minutes from Darwin, you and I have been down to Dundee Beach. We rode quad bikes down it, if memory serves me correct.
That's right. And that's again a cool little beach run where you can jump on that beach and actually go down to I think it's the Finnis River, and you can
that's it. Yep.
You can turn around that little sort of sandy point and go down and do some awesome fishing at the mouth of the Finnis. A cool spot.
Beautiful untouched little area, and just outside of Darwin, of course, is Casuarina Coastal Reserve. Not a heap of driving down there, but again, it's what I like about it is that the council has said we see the need to allow people to drive on the beach. Go down there of an afternoon, let the dog have a bit of a swim when it's not croc season or stinger season or whatever else they get up there. But they've opened up that section so that you can go down and enjoy that stretch of beach in your four-wheel drive, and that, in my humble opinion, is lacking too much these days. The recognition that four-wheel drives are a valid recreational pursuit.
Yeah.
Closing off beaches close to towns, I think, is a bit silly. We don't need hundreds of kilometres, but like this one, Casuarina, it's only 8 k's a beach. That'll do. That's mobs.
Yeah.
That's heaps.
Yeah. Can't agree more, mate. Old NT, I love it. It's not known again for its beach runs, but I just love being on the beaches up there because it means I'm fishing normally, so that's always a good thing.
With that in mind, I have to pick, although it's probably the shortest beach run you'll ever do, you just about turn your car around and come back out again, but the beach at Lorella Springs, for me, the fact that we opened up the track to get out there, mate, I'm putting that one on. That's my favourite in the NT.
Yep. For me, I'm going to go probably, can I just say Arnhem Land as a whole? Nearly every single beach is amazing up there. I'm just going to put Arnhem Land, every single beach you'll ever drive on in Arnhem Land is amazing.
They've all got the tick of approval.
Yeah, there's about 4,000 beaches up there, so you can't go too wrong.
Mate, of course, we put the old question out to you folks at home. What were your favourite beaches to drive on, camp on, fish off, do anything you like to, all around Australia? And boy, oh boy, didn't we get some answers, a lot of which we've covered here, but we got so many. Read off a few there that we haven't mentioned, mate.
One I want to read off is Esperance to Israelite Bay. I know exactly. That's on the cliff edges, isn't it? That one.
No, that's the Baxter Cliffs. This is actually before you get to that. So this is kind of the from the town out to the old whaling station of Israelite Bay. Beautiful, beautiful drive.
Yeah, right. Again, that's a cool one. What about Brooms Head near Yamba? Again, that's a nice little sleepy coastal town, mid-north coast of New South Wales. Cool spot.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, Brooms Head's awesome. It's just north of Pebbly, as the crow flies.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yep, that makes sense. Cape Palmerston, that's a beach we don't talk about too much. Now, I mentioned that there were kangaroos on the beach down at Esperance. Cape Palmerston, up in Queensland there. It's near Youngala, down off the ranges.
Oh, yeah, up near Mackay, or south of...
Yeah, up near Mackay. Yeah, Cape Palmerston, they also get kangaroos down on the beach. I don't know why. What's a kangaroo? What's his business on the beach? I don't get it. You get him at Cape Palmerston as well.
Yeah, great little pub not too far from there too.
There you go. How about this one, mate? Wedge Island in Perth. So there's a little community that you wouldn't have seen just north of Lanceland. Bunch of shacks. There'd be a couple of hundred shacks up there. There's one called Grey and there's another one called Wedge. You used to be able to get to them from Lanceland on a track that would go inland and then along the beach and up. I've done it many, many times when I was a kid. It's closed off now, the track, but the little communities are still there, Wedge and Grey. And they're just a whole bunch of shacks on the beach, mate. They are superb. And that beach in there, to die for.
What about just Rainbow Beach?
Yeah.
Rainbow Beach in Queensland, another good one.
Yep. There's too many. I think you folks at home, let's put it to the test because Shaun and I are going to narrow it down to our top couple now. But what's your favourite beach to drive or camp on and around Australia, folks? Let us know in the comments down below. We want to know state by state. We might even do a little wrap up of this. Maybe we'll just do a little social media video, just letting people know what the numbers are and what the number one beach is. Yeah,
I'm keen. I'm a big fan of beach runs, and I know a lot of our audience is too, mate. So I think this is going to be pretty popular.
Righto, mate, this is it. This is the question. You can only drive on one beach for the rest. I'm going to make this hard for you. I'm taking Fraser Island and Moreton Island out of the mix for both of us. Yep, they're out of the mix for both of us.
Oh, my goodness. So
you got one beach for the rest of your life, and it's not Fraser, it's not Moreton.
Okay. There's one beach I can do for the rest of my life.
Yep.
I'm going to have to grow a beard.
Would you like some time to think, or you got it?
No, I'm going to have to grow a beard for this one. I can't do this as a non-bearded man. I'd have to do Arthur Pyman down in Tasmania.
Wow, that is so not what I would have thought you would pick. Yeah. It's southern latitude and cold and windy.
I know, I'm getting cold and getting shivers down my spine just thinking about it. But in terms of the beach run itself, I'm not talking about the fishing opportunities. I'm talking about just the beach run. It's pure adventure, remote. It's everything I love about a beach run.
Okay. Well, mate, I'm going to pick one that I can be at within the next half an hour, and that's my local. So that's the Warren or Yeagerup beach run down over the dunes, Kelcup down onto the beach. up Fish Creek to the shack. You're not going to know what I'm talking about. But for me, nothing touches it in Australia. It is simply one of the best beaches in the country, and it's on my doorstep. So I'm very lucky. The Yeager Dunes, Warren Beach Run, that's for me, mate, all over.
Yep. Yeah, nice one, mate. Nice one. One of my favourite parts of Beers in the Shed, mate, is where we get to go inside your shed and see what you've been up to, your rigs, or your fails, all that sort of jazz. We've got some really cool prizes to give away as well, mate. We've got a couple of 4X merch packs as well as a Snatch voucher to give away, a Snatch clothing voucher. So that would be kind of cool. Look, all the dogs will come and join me. See, look, it's not just my favourite part of Beers in the Shed, it's all the doggies, mate. Yeah, they've come running in. As soon as I said prizes, mate, they were right in here.
I love that there's a kids section these days. That's just, and we're starting straight off with the kids section, mate. Have you actually seen this little stop motion thing this little fella made, William made?
So good. It took over 2,000 individual photos to create this.
There's me and you in there. We do a cooking scene. We rescue each other's cars. Yeah. It's crazy good. We got to employ this kid.
Well, yeah, look, I've even got the hat on. I'm guessing you're the guy with the grey hair.
That's me. And I've shaved, which is very unlike today.
But you're keeping it professional. I like it.
Yeah, look at us underneath there fixing cars. It's so good.
Yeah, William, you're a little legend, mate. That is
you are, mate.
One of the coolest things I have seen this year. That is really cool. Have a look at this rig. This is Brett's rig, Australian Off-Road Adventures. Now, one thing I want to point out about this, Graham, and it's something I've just learned about. Now, I've been in the industry for a long, long time. It's a very minor detail in this rig, but in WA, I see it absolutely everywhere. It's that little piece of, like, a visor that sits over your dash that sort of reflects the sun. I've never seen this in my 20 years of being in the industry, but it seems like every vehicle, this must be a WA vehicle, I can only imagine, because it's got that.
Oh, okay, I've seen it. Well, you're right, actually. It does occur a lot over here. Andrew Summer. So I think what's happened here, I think Andrew has gone and got himself bogged putting the boat in one day, and the kids have decided they would make a Lego model celebrating what Dad did wrong. Dad's fail has been immortalised forever in Lego, and I think that is fantastic.
Yeah, how good's that? How good's that? That's the best way to do it. Look at that. It's a big boat too. I like it.
Yep, kids, they'll never let you forget. That's good on you, Andrew. That's fantastic. Hey, this is neat.
Yeah,
the old ex-army Parenti.
The Hulk, mate, the Hulk. Jocko would love this, and he'd be frothing, mate, if he saw this. This is really kitted up for that sort of, I want to say, it looks like one of those vehicles you could chuck it in a shipping container and go and tackle the whole world in one epic 2-year trip.
What is it with, this is a genuine question, I'm not having a go at anyone here, but what is it with the owners of these vehicles where they have so much on the exterior? This guy's got a bag strapped to the bonnet. There's things on the windows outside. He's even got his dog on the bonnet. Even the dog's not allowed to ride inside the vehicle. Everything's strapped to the outside. What's with that? Anyone? Let me know. Let me know.
I can tell you, mate. You say if you own a Land Rover, you need, firstly, you want to cover it up as best you can. So you want to try and get all your accessories on the outside to really cover it up. And secondly, it's a bit of a show-off vehicle, the old Land Rover. You want to get in there and say, hey, I'm differentiate myself between the guys that pull the old polo horse floats. So I want to let people know that I'm an adventurer, and that's what they're doing.
Is that right? Okay. Well, I might start doing that with my own vehicle.
Exactly right. How's this another cool kids one, mate? This one is from young Cooper. Now,
Cooper?
Yeah, he's done a little animation, a little drawing of Land Cruiser 79 series going down Gunshot.
Look at that. I wish Gunshot was
massive fan.
That big.
I know.
It's a lot bigger.
I know, it's like a little skateboard bowl. Looks like that 79's about to do a kickflip. How good's that?
His biggest adventure so far has been Fraser Island. Good on you, Cooper. I reckon Cooper won't be long until we'll see Cooper up in the Cape.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And his dream is obviously to go up Gunshot and give it a crack up in Cape York. So, mate,
absolutely.
You know, when that is your dream as a young kid, Cooper, you're doing it right.
You are doing it right. Yeah. Now, mate, we've got to put our money where our mouth is. We've got to give a 4X merch pack to the rig. And then we've got to do a kids voucher as well, mate. Look, just because it got me asking questions, and it doesn't happen too much these days, I'm going to go with the Hulk, the 1990 ex-army rig. It's a rig. It's a rig. There's no other word for it.
Yeah. Yep, that would be a very capable vehicle, mate. All right.
I reckon the owner would too. Do you reckon the owner of that owns in any way, shape or form, colour or cotton combination of, do you think he has a pair of cargo pants?
Has he ever taken them off? No.
Sleeps in them.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And you would, if you had a vehicle like that, you got to look the part too. I'd be wearing military boots at all times.
I'm buying some cargo pants. I need some street cred.
Yeah, exactly right. Okay, what about the $50 snatch voucher we give to one of the kids? And I'm thinking, you know the one I'm thinking.
Yeah,
right
it has to be William. It has to be William with his little stop motion project.
Animation. Yeah, stop motion project. I think is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. That is epic.
He's got a job at Forward Drive 24/7 when he's old enough. In fact, we can get him now. You don't have to pay kids much, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah, you can get him in there. That'll just work for fun. But yeah, that shows real creativity. I love that. That's awesome. So guys, do yourselves a favour. You know, use all the hashtags. Show us what you got, especially kiddos out there. If you listen and you think, how can I get on Beers in the Shed? Well, kiddos, get your parents to tag us on their Instagram by using the hashtag ForwardDrive247Kids. That way we'll get to see it, and hopefully you guys can win a prize just like William did.
And well-deserved prize it is too. William, absolutely stunning, mate.
Yeah.
I think that's about all we've got time for this week on the old Beers in the Shed,
really
mate.
Does. We've got some epic content coming up on the channel, guys. This is going to be our biggest year ever. I can tell, mate, just by having a quick squiz through the schedule, what we've got coming up is insane. Now, we say that every year for good reason. It just keeps getting bigger and better every single year. So, guys, make sure you tune in. And the best way to make sure you don't miss any of the action is simply chuck us a little like and a subscribe. And then you'll be notified as well of all the cool stuff that's about to hit YouTube this year. And trust me, you're not going to want to miss any of it.
Exactly right, mate. I'm going to say cheers for now, mate. I'll see you very, very soon. And to everyone else out there,
sure will.
Hopefully we catch you on the track somewhere.
Well, definitely on the beach anyway.
On the beach, maybe. Yes, exactly. Cheers, guys.